everyone, welcome back to Fluent English with Podcast. I'm Sophie.
And I'm Alan.
We're so excited to have you join us again on our journey to improve your English through conversation and vocabulary.
Yep, that's right. This podcast is all about making English fun and easy to learn.
And we believe that the best way to do that is through real-life conversations.
Exactly. So, if you're ready to take your English to the next level, hit that subscribe button and join our awesome community.
All right, so today we're talking about something that most people will experience at some point in their lives. Buying a car.
Yeah, it can be a big decision, right? There are so many things to consider.
Definitely. From the type of car to the budget, it can be overwhelming.
But don't worry, we're here to help. We'll share our experiences and give you some tips.
And we'll also talk to some experts who can give us some valuable advice.
So let's get started. Some keywords related to buying a car are budget, car model, features, test drive, dealership, negotiation, and financing.
Great. Let's dive in. So, Alan, have you ever bought a car?
Yeah, I bought my first car a few years ago. It was a pretty stressful experience.
Really? Why?
Well, I didn't know much about cars, so I had to do a lot of research.
I see. Did you buy a new or used car?
I bought a used car. It was cheaper.
That's smart. How did you choose which car to buy?
I looked at different models and compared prices.
Did you test drive any cars?
Yes, I test drove a few before making a decision.
And how was the negotiation process?
It was tough. I had to haggle with the salesperson.
Wow, that sounds stressful.
Yeah, but I got a good deal in the end.
That's great.
Your turn. Have you ever bought a car, Sophie?
Actually, no, I haven't bought a car yet. I've always relied on public transportation or ride sharing, but I'm thinking about getting one soon.
Really? What made you change your mind?
Well, with my job, I've been traveling more, and it's becoming a bit of a hassle to rely on public transport. Plus, I want more flexibility.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Having a car definitely gives you more freedom. So what kind of car are you thinking about?
I'm not really sure yet. I'm still doing some research. I think I want something fuel efficient and reliable.
That's a good starting point. Maybe we can go car shopping together sometime.
That would be fun. But first, let's hear from some of our listeners about their car buying experiences.
Well, it seems like buying a car can be a pretty complex process.
Definitely. There are a lot of things to think about.
But it's also an exciting experience.
Yeah. Getting your first car is a big milestone.
That's right, Sophie. Now we're excited to introduce our first guest, Dave. Dave, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Dave, we heard you have a hilarious story about buying a used car. Can you tell us about it?
Absolutely. So, I was looking for a cheap car, right? And I found this ad for a really good deal. I mean, it was too good to be true, but hey, I thought I'd give it a shot.
So you went to check it out?
Yeah, I did. When I got there, the car was parked in this shady alleyway. I mean, it was like something out of a movie.
Wow. That sounds suspicious.
I know, right? But I was determined. So I took a look at the car. It looked okay from the outside, but when I opened the door, it was a whole different story.
What do you mean?
Well, the interior was, let's just say, interesting. There were all sorts of weird stains and smells, and the seats were ripped in places.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. But the worst part was when I started the car. It sounded like a dying animal. I swear the car was about to explode.
That's hilarious. What did you do?
I just laughed and walked away. I couldn't believe I actually went to see that car.
We can't believe it either. That's a story you'll never forget.
Definitely. Thanks for sharing, Dave. It's great to have a good laugh.
That story was absolutely hilarious. I can't imagine seeing a car like that.
Me neither. It's a good reminder to be careful when buying a used car.
Definitely. You should always do your research and take someone with you when you go to check out a car.
And don't be afraid to walk away if something doesn't feel right.
Exactly. Now we're going to listen to a conversation between a couple, Anna and George, who are visiting a car dealership.
Let's see what they're looking for in a new car.
So, George, I'm really excited about getting a new car. I've been dreaming about this for ages.
Me too, Anna. But we need to be practical about it. Let's remember our budget.
Of course, honey. I don't want to break the bank either. But I do want something with good gas mileage.
Definitely. And it needs to be safe. Safety is our top priority.
Absolutely, and I'd love a car with a sunroof. It would be so nice to enjoy the sunshine.
Well, we could consider that. But I think a good sound system is more important to me. I love listening to music when I'm driving.
Okay, we can compromise on that. But the car has to be comfortable. I don't want to get tired on long drives.
I agree. And it should have plenty of trunk space. We're going to need room for our luggage when we go on vacation.
That's true. And let's not forget about technology. I want a car with Bluetooth and Apple CarPlay.
Good point. That would be really convenient. Also, I think a backup camera is essential these days.
Oh, definitely. I can't believe how many cars don't have that. And maybe we should consider a car with heated seats. It would be so nice on cold mornings.
That's a good idea. But let's not get carried away. We have a budget to stick to.
I know. But it's fun to dream, right?
Absolutely. So what color do you want?
I've always loved red cars, but maybe a dark blue would be more practical.
I like gray. It's classic.
We can always compromise on the color. But let's find a car we both love.
Deal.
It sounds like Anna and George have a pretty good idea of what they want in a car.
Yeah, they seem to have a good balance between practicality and luxury.
It's important to know what your priorities are before you start car shopping.
Absolutely. And it's also a good idea to set a budget before you start looking.
That's great advice. Now, we are going to talk to a car salesperson about the car buying process.
That's right, Alan. We're joined by Alex, a seasoned car salesperson. Welcome, Alex.
Thanks for having me.
Alex, what's the biggest mistake people make when buying a car?
That's a great question. I think the biggest mistake is not doing enough research beforehand. People often come in without knowing what they want or what they can afford.
So, it's important to set a budget before you start looking?
Absolutely. And it's also important to know what features are important to you. Do you need a lot of cargo space? Do you want a fuel-efficient car? Once you know what you want, you can narrow down your options.
What about test drives? Are they really necessary?
Definitely. A test drive is the best way to see if a car is right for you. You can get a feel for the handling, the comfort, and the overall driving experience.
What about negotiating the price? Any tips?
Negotiation is always part of the car buying process. Do your research on the car's value before you go to the dealership, and be prepared to walk away if you don't get a good deal.
What about the hidden costs of owning a car? Things like insurance, maintenance, and fuel.
That's a great point. People often forget about those costs. It's important to factor them into your budget. And remember, different cars have different insurance rates.
And what about the resale value? Should people consider that when buying a car?
Absolutely. Some cars hold their value better than others. If you plan on selling the car in a few years, resale value is something to think about.
And finally, what about the environmental impact of different car types? Are electric cars really the way to go?
The automotive industry is changing rapidly, and there are definitely more eco-friendly options available. Electric cars are becoming more popular, but they might not be the right choice for everyone. It's important to consider your driving habits and lifestyle when making a decision.
Thanks for the tips, Alex. It's been really helpful.
You're welcome. Happy car shopping.
Wow, Alex had some great insights. It's clear that buying a car involves a lot of factors.
Definitely. And it's easy to get overwhelmed with all the options.
But with the right information, we can make an informed decision.
Exactly. And remember, It's okay to take your time. Don't feel pressured to buy a car right away.
That's good advice. And if you're unsure about something, don't hesitate to ask questions.
Absolutely. Knowledge is power when it comes to buying a car.
We've received a question from one of our listeners, Sarah. She asks, what's the best time of year to buy a car?
That's a good question, Sarah. Generally, the end of the year is a good time to buy a car because dealerships are trying to meet their sales quotas.
Also consider the time of the month. The end of the month is often a good time to negotiate a better deal.
But remember, these are just general trends. The best time to buy a car really depends on your individual circumstances.
Well, that's all we have time for today. We hope you enjoyed this episode on buying a car.
Remember, buying a car is a big decision, so take your time and do your research.
And don't forget to subscribe to our podcast for more tips and advice.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Until next time, happy driving